Hello everybody, it's 9 o'clock on the 30th of May, and it's a Wednesday, and that's the usual time that we do Rollercoaster New Logos. We won't be doing it next week though, because we won't be here, because it's the end of the series. Yes, this is our great last huzzah, everybody, and we're going out with a bang, not literally, unless I forget to turn the gas off again. So let's get started. Here's a new intro. This is the intro we're going to be using probably in Series 2. So enjoy that, and we'll see you soon.
Bouncy, bouncy, surfing through all the web pages in search of lulls, crying into his pint. Bouncy, bouncy, blogging people's inanity with all his heart. It'll probably be shite. Bouncy, no one else can do the things you do. Bouncy, turning bollocks into content you. Bouncy, usually too drunk to hit the toilet, leaving piss and stains on the floor.
I'm Dalek Sex, I do the sound clips. Friend of Bouncy.
Bouncy,
I'm Dalek Sex, I do the sound clips. Friend of Bouncy.
Yeah, so there you go. That's something new. That's not Bagpuss. It's new, and we it's new, and it's the last one of the show. Anyway, speaking of Dalek, there you may have heard him last Friday on the Gamescast when he triumphantly stormed to victory in a kind of offensive strike on behalf of the Rollercoaster. He took down that live show. He took it. He went in and expected to be a guest where they'd kind of ask him. He didn't. He just went in, he took Paul out straight away, kind of used his voice of sex to knock him out of the way. Boys just giggled once, and that was it. That was 20 minutes of just Dalek talking brilliantly. So yeah, with that in mind, I recorded this great intro that they didn't ever get. So I'm going to play that, and then, you can hear how I would have introduced Dalek on that show if I'd have been able to send an email properly. So here you go, enjoy.
Right, so there's the ruler right there. 9.5 inches. See, I told you it was 9.5 inches. Pull your trousers up. Oh, hello there. I'm Bouncy Ball from Rollercoaster Your Lug Holes. We go out every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock on Spreaker.com. Please listen to our show. We really do need some more listeners. Anyway, I've been asked to come here onto the Gamescast, not as a guest. No, I've not been asked to be a guest. But the person that lives in my Rollercoaster flat with me, doing voices into saucepans and a microphone, has been asked to be a guest. So I'm introducing him. Yeah. Not degrading, not really. Anyway, positive. His name's Dalek Sex, and as far as I'm concerned, he's the best person I've ever met who gives me oral pleasure. And I'm hoping he's going to give you oral pleasure too. Allow him to penetrate your ears with all of his oral goodness, and let it warm you up inside as you feel it trickle through your systems. Of course, I'm not being rude. I'm just saying he's good at saying words and stuff. Oh, you're so dirty. Anyway, back to the Gamescast with my friend Dalek Sex. I hope you enjoy it. I'm listening to this live. I'm not talking this bit live. This is pre-recorded. Recently, while recording this, an ice cream man went past. I got really cross and fell off a chair, and then a bee landed on my nose. The joys of pre-recording audio bumper bits, eh? That's why I let him do mine, because I don't have to get stung by ice cream van following bees or anything. Back to original point. Dalek Sex is about to be on the Gamescast, and I hope you enjoy it. Bye-bye.
So
Wow.
there you go. That would have been...
That's amazing. It's almost as if somebody recorded a bumper for me and then forgot what they were doing halfway through, and they decided not to use it after all.
That's not what happened at all. I recorded for over an hour to get that. The first one I got right and deleted it. After that, it was an exercise in futility. But anyway, as you may have guessed, that voice there in the background in the Rollercoaster flat, that is Dalek. Say hello, Dalek.
Hello, Dalek.
Yeah, you see, he even does that thing. Anyway, would you like to introduce yourself properly?
Yes, all I have to say really is please tell me that you're trolling me when you say you're going to use that Ulysses thing for season 2. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning and I was really drunk when I recorded that.
I'm going to use it again later. Twice.
Hell is full of people like you, Bouncy. Full of them.
It is. And, you put them there. So, you've obviously been doing our sound for a little while. Whatever possessed you to come and actually talk to these people, especially HDVD, he's there. Why would you want him to hear you talking live?
Because I decided to troll Dr. Hamhock. He had this blog that he was writing for called We Are the Holocaust. I happen to know him, so I thought it would be Wizard Wheezes to go and become the most talented and prolific person on that site, obviously. And unfortunately, it didn't work because he read about one of my blog posts and knew who I was.
Yeah, I remember when you told me to keep it a secret, and I said, we've got this new guy. He went, yeah, I know it is. And I just thought, busted. But there you go. So, you obviously do your voice of sex. It's been a very popular little segment. You've done one for us this week. Would you like to just go over what you've done, or should we just jump straight into it?
I wouldn't like to spoiler it too much. I mean, it's a bit weird for me having a live contribution and a pre-recorded segment. I kind of make the original material superfluous with my very existence. I'm like a walking version of Final Fantasy X2. But just have a look at it. Suffice to say, we bust some sick moves this week.
Well, there we go. Right, this is the voice of Sex 6. So enjoy, everybody.
We are the Holocaust. Assume the position for the voice of sex.
Yeah. Huh. Come on. He's got opinion. A posted suggestion, but never reveals his name. Written by someone, taken as a good one. But nobody knows who wrote it. Few lies with the sentence lie. Anonymity annoying me all the time.
This week on The Voice of Sex, we're going to be going out on a high. A dangerous high. We're going to be setting one of the most dangerous world records in existence. The world record for explaining the plot to Metal Gear. The record currently stands at 17 days, 5 hours, 4 minutes and 53 seconds and is owned by Hideo Kojima of Japan. 12 people died during the record attempt and a further 5 were arrested for trying to strangle him to prevent its completion. Remember, the men and women of the Holocaust are trained professionals. Do not try this at home. And so, without further ado, it all starts when a woman known as the Boss wins the Second World War single-handedly, becomes the first woman in space, and founds Cobra unit comprising of the joy, the sorrow, the pain, the fear, the fury, and the end. The sorrow and the joy, aka the Boss conceive a child, but due to complications on the field of battle, a baby is born by cesarean section, leaving a snake scar on the Boss's body and leaving her barren. The baby, named Chelasheska, grows up and joins the Ocelot unit of the Russian crew. Meanwhile, Khrushchev calls off the Cuban Missile Crisis in return for a scientist called Sokolov, who was working on a mobile missile platform called the Shago-Hod, so the Americans send in Jack, the Boss's protege, to recover it on the virtuous mission under the codename Naked Snake. However, Cobra unit defects to Russia and takes 2 nuclear warheads with them, one of which is fired on Russia by Colonel Volgin. Under pressure to prove they were not involved, Snake is sent back in under Operation Snake Eater to kill the Boss and recover the Philosopher's Legacy, a massive post-war treasure trove, with the aid of paramedic Sigint, Major Zero, although not the one played by Windsor Davis in Terrorhawks, and a deep cover operative named Eva, but Eva detects to China and takes the Legacy with her. Fox, Big Boss's old unit, goes rogue under the banner of Gene, another of the Boss's disciples, and Big Boss and Zero have to prove to the CIA that they weren't responsible. In doing so, Big Boss accidentally recruits Roy Campbell and Frank Yeager, a child soldier who's being used in a bizarre memory-wiping experiment to create the perfect warrior, and raises an entire army. Along the way, he meets a psychic teenage girl with dissociative personality disorder who prophesies that his terrible snake children will both save the world and try to destroy it. Big Boss encounters and destroys the first Metal Gear, kills Gene, and receives the money Gene had amassed for building an army's heaven. The missing half of the Philosopher's Legacy is recovered by Ocelot, and Zero founds a successor group to the Philosophers called the Patriots, aka Cypher, aka the Lolly Lule Lo, after the original password for the virtuous mission, along with Jack, now Big Boss, Paramedic, Sigint, Eva, and Ocelot. In 1972, Big Boss is wounded in Vietnam and falls into a coma. In case he dies, Zero initiates the Enfant Terrible project, steals his DNA, injects them into an ovum, and has Eva give birth to Solid Snake and Liquid Snake. Big Boss is enraged when he recovers and takes his new army, Militaire Sans Frontières, with his second-in-command being Kazuhiro Miller, who will later become Master Miller. The project continues, however, and also produces Solida Snake, a perfect genetic clone of Big Boss. Meanwhile, in South America, the boss's lesbian lover, Dr. Strangelove, has completed an AI reconstruction of the boss's mind and is helping the CIA to insert it into an army of Metal Gears built by a paraplegic robotics engineer named Huey Emmerich. The KGB sends in a little girl called Paz Ortega to beg Big Boss for help, taking with her a recording of the AI to fool him into thinking that the boss is still alive. MSS goes to war with the CIA in Costa Rica to prevent Project Peace Walker from nuking the United States. Huey and Dr. Strangelove fall in love and build Metal Gear Zeke, the first Metal Gear owned and controlled by Big Boss, but Paz turns out to be a deep-cover operative working for the Patriots and attempts to steal it and launch a missile on Washington, forever tarring Big Boss as a terrorist in the eyes of the world. Big Boss finally realizes that the boss's willingness to die in order to save the world was a betrayal of him and his own right, and that his destiny is finally different to hers. He establishes the MSG as an independent country named after heaven, named after Gene's plan for the Fox Uprising, and using a hex plant design which will later be reused for Arsenal Gear and the Big Shell project. This begins 2 decades of fucking about behind the scenes. Huey and Strangelove have 2 children named Hal and Emma, who will become Otacon and AE. Sigyn takes control of DARPA. Big Boss covertly takes command of Fox's successor unit Foxhound in order to keep tabs on the Patriots, tabs on him. And Solida Snake forms a small bio unit under the Army of the Devil and raises another child soldier, whose name is also Jack, to become Raiden. Solid Snake and Frank Yeager, now Grey Fox, are sent to recover Metal Gear, kill Big Boss, destroy Outer Heaven. Metal Gear TX-55 is destroyed and Big Boss loses control of Foxhound to Roy Campbell. Big Boss survives and takes Grey Fox to Zanzibar with Dr. Petrovich Modnar, but Campbell sends Snake to follow them under the cover story of solving an oil crisis. Grey Fox is recovered by the Patriots and turned into a cyborg ninja, and Big Boss is placed into an artificial coma by Zero, using nanomachines. Eva and Ocelot hatch a plan to topple Zero and recover Big Boss. By this point, betrayed by every founding member of the Patriots, Zero plans to create a team of AIs disguised as the Millennium Bug to take over from him when he dies and control the internet. Dr. Strangelove dies and Huey is married to a new bride, but his family splits up when Otacon bangs her. Liquid Snake joins Foxhound to plan his uprising. Revolver Ocelot joins Foxhound to exterminate the remaining Patriots. Naomi Hunter, Fox's adopted sister, joins Foxhound to fuck with everyone on general principle. The first to die is Paramedic, who is killed when Cyborg Frank escapes thanks to Eva and Ocelot. Liquid launches the Shadow Moses uprising and demands the remains of Big Boss, unaware that he is still alive. Ocelot convinces him that the chief of DARPA, Donald Anderson, will be a valuable hostage, and Liquid kidnaps him, unaware he is actually Sigyn, whereafter Ocelot murders him and pretends to have tortured him to death in a fit of runaway sadistic glee, because obviously that's totally more acceptable. Cyborg Frank cuts Ocelot's arm off. Liquid kills Cyborg Frank. Naomi screws everyone with the Foxdie virus. Snake destroys Metal Gear Rex before escaping with Otacon and Campbell's niece Meryl in tow. Now this is where things get weird. Snake and Otacon found philanthropy, an anti-Metal Gear organisation. Ocelot volunteers to have Liquid's arm stitched onto him and undergo post-hypnotic suggestion to convince him that the arm possesses him in order to lure Zero out of hiding, then sells the plans for Metal Gear on the black market, ensuring everyone is able to build one. The Marines build Metal Gear Rex, and Snake tries to infiltrate the project, but Liquid Ocelot intervenes and steals it using the help of Olga Galukovich. Snake fakes his death, and Olga gives birth to a daughter who is kidnapped by Zero and uses it as leverage to force her to dress up as Grey Fox to fool Raiden, who is sent by Solida Snake, who has resigned as president, which apparently he was all along, under Campbell to capture Arsenal Gear, Zero's secret weapon for blowing up the internet, but Campbell is secretly the GWAI, and when the good guys release Emma's virus, it goes insane. Raiden has a baby by the Patriots agent Rosemary, but she tells him she had a miscarriage and he leaves her and gets turned into an emo cyborg by Modnar. Campbell, the real one this time, not the computer ghost, pretends to be doing her in order to keep the child safe. Snake and Otacon adopt Olga's little girl Sunny. Snake, now suffering from artificially induced aging, is asked by Campbell to assassinate Liquid Ocelot. Snake infiltrates the Middle East, destroys the Patriots AI system and fights Liquid Ocelot, who disappears. He then attempts to commit suicide on the boss's grave, but is stopped by Big Boss, who shows up with Zero in a wheelchair before killing Zero and dying himself. We're talking live now by Ouija board to Norris McWhirter, who informs us 5 minutes and 39 seconds. Not quite under the 5 minutes mark, but still. There's bollocks that! There, did it in about half a second.
So there you go, well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Broke the record.
I realised there were a lot of fluffs in it, but I did that in one take. I figured it would be cheating otherwise.
Oh, exactly. And we do love a bit of fluff on the Holocaust. That was our first job when we got out of high school. So
That was your nickname in school, wasn't it?
No.
Fluff.
No. I was. I had 3 nicknames at school. One was Donkey, which was great until people found out it was just because I had a big school bag. One was Boo. I never found out why. And the other one was Fingers, because there was a rumour I cut the fingers off of a man in a factory once and kept it in a bag just to look at. So, yeah, there you go.
I have nothing to add.
There's nothing to add, really. I like Donkey. Donkey was a good one. It was it sounded like I was from Liverpool or something. But yeah, so now you are the world record holder for explaining the whole plot of Metal Gear Solid. Where do you go next?
I'd like to get it under 5 minutes, to be honest.
Right, but then you need to get that done, because if another game comes out, then you're gonna have a harder task ahead of you.
Yeah, we have Metal Gear Rising coming out this year. It was meant to be out last month, but apparently at some undisclosed point in the project, Kojima got completely fucked off with it and cancelled it in secret. And then Konami bombed out to the guys who did Vanquish and Bayonetta. So as if the Metal Gear games weren't nonsensical and over the top enough for you already, they've given it to the Bayonetta guys.
Which isn't a bad move, because that was a great game.
It was a great game.
And I'd quite like to see how that merge works, because actually you can, going by what I'd seen from the Uprising, because isn't it now Revengeance or something as a subtitle?
Revengeance,
yeah,
yes.
making up
Revenge
words.
with a Vengeance
That's
is the subtitle to the game.
Yeah. So with that mixed with Bayonetta, that could be quite a good experience, and maybe the first Metal Gear Solid game I'll play for more than half an hour. Maybe. Right,
you
now
won't get as far as the first gameplay section then.
Probably not.
That'll get you halfway through the first cutscene.
I was gonna say, even when we tried to play live, that was hard enough. Just getting through the tutorial was a chore, and that was with about 2 cutscenes on that. Anyway, right, some news I got today. I don't know if you've seen this, and obviously for the people listening at home, Angry Birds is opening its first, in Britain at least, its first theme park attraction. This is going to be a playground within the Sundown Adventureland theme park for the under 10s in Nottinghamshire. They're going to essentially, it's just swings and slides and hopefully catapults, just the kids to play in. So, is this following on from obviously Alton Towers having the Sonic the Hedgehog roller coaster thing? Could we now feasibly see any other iPhone apps and Android apps suddenly becoming theme park attractions? Who knows? Sonic
the Hedgehog has a fairground thing, and it's new. Is that what you're saying to me? How?
At Alton Towers, they renamed the Spinball, one of their coasters after the Sonic Spinball game. Which, if you're going to name it after a Sonic game, do pick
Sonic
the one
Spinball,
that barely anybody's heard
a
of.
Mega Drive game.
Yeah.
So not only has somebody convinced these guys that Sonic the Hedgehog is still valid IP, but that they should base something off a Mega Drive game. I
think the big deal was
that
night. Alton Towers basically just got a job lot of blue paint. And I can't think of any other blue characters, really.
Has anybody on the board at Alton Towers played a video game since the Vectrex?
Well, obviously. But, they must have done. They know Sonic the Hedgehog is. He wasn't a vector graphic creation. He was Sega's masterpiece. Obviously took the thunder away from Alex Kidd somewhat. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is Angry Birds. An Angry Birds theme park. I can't see. If it had a petting zoo and there were pigs available, and it was an option to catapult things at pigs, I would probably pay and just live there, because that would be amusing endlessly, particularly if the kids got to dress up as the birds. You could fire your own children at pigs. But other than that, I'm failing to see what it is other than a very thin kind of marketing ploy for play equipment, which is costing £250,000 to put in some swings and slides and things with Angry Birds painted on them. So,
is there actually that much money left in Angry Birds anymore?
I'd like to think that the next logical step would be Angry Birds space themed trips into space for anybody that wants to pay kind of 69p to be fired a little bit into space, then they have to pay a premium for every other mile they want to go away from Earth. And then I'd pay for all of them to just fuck off off the planet.
The reason I ask is because we seem to be constantly teetering on another .com bubble burst, but not quite, because Draw Something got bought for silly money lately, and people got bored of it in about 2 weeks. Facebook shares have had 25 billion, is it, wiped off them?
Yeah.
Since they opened, as a result of this whole Facebook advertising thing not being worth quite as much as Mr. Morgan Stanley thought it was. So yeah, I'm just waiting for the big crash at the moment. It's got to be coming.
I think what's great and kind of what I love about this whole kind of the app marketplace for games is it is offering just anybody as a startup to be able to put something out and actually make money from it. And if a big company like Zynga that bought Draw Something want to throw their cash at something they think is going to make them money and then doesn't make them money, I'm even happier, because essentially anything that Zynga loses is a win in my book. And as soon as they changed the loading screen for Draw Something to include a Zynga logo was the day I stopped playing, because I figured, the original team have made their money. They can go on and do whatever they like, at some later date.
Yeah, I noticed you stopped playing.
All right. I'll start
Still,
again.
well done for guessing Nick Fury, though.
Well, I am something of a Draw Something king, and if they got rid of that logo, I'd go straight back to it. But I kind of feel a bit sick every time I look at it. I keep getting these little messages from my mum that says, "Please take your go. Go on."
It's
please.
A little bit like you walked in on yourself wanking, isn't it?
Yeah, it is pretty much. Only with less recoil of horror and more kind of emphasis on covering my eyes quickly.
Speaking of the collapse of everything, did you hear about Studio 38?
Yes, I did. Are we right about the Kingdoms of Amalur people, yeah?
Yeah, this was actually something I massively screwed up for the Gamescast, because Honor, my researcher, said Studio 38's gone under and it's massive and you've got to cover it. And I said, who is Studio 38? Then the day after, I found out that they are Big Huge Games. And I thought, well, okay, I know who they are now. I have context. But, Amalur was an average game. It's not really something that I see as massive. The day after that, I was told why the story is so enormous. Apparently, 38 was founded 5 years ago with a flotation loan of $50 million provided by the state of Rhode Island itself. Now, I don't know. Speaking personally, obviously we live in the Lollicourse flat in Greater Tossing, and they won't even fix the potholes outside the road. So I had no idea that local authorities had like $50 million at a time sitting around doing nothing. But apparently they do, and they use it to make shit video games.
Well, it was Rhode Island, so it was that, or just commission a huge family park theme area with catapults and pigs.
And Angry Birds, yes.
Yeah. Giant clams instead, and a bloke and a chicken that just chases you around and kicks the shit out of you on a daily basis. Which actually, that would be good.
Anymore. I'm going to sit in the corner and weep.
All right, fair enough. Well, while you're sitting in the corner and weeping, I'm just going to give a bit of a shout out for a friend of mine who his name's Chris. People on the internet call him Boyo. He's from Wales originally, so that's a good original one. He founded a magazine called Retro Fusion and also organised some retro events. I know HDVD came along to the last one with me and my buddies. The magazine he did went out through Game Station. It was kind of an independent magazine that just got picked up for distribution. And when he had his kids, he stopped doing it for a while, but he's now trying to get it back up again. And on Indiegogo, he's joined the kind of the Kickstarter kind of craze as such. He set up a donation thing on Indiegogo. If you search on there for Retro Fusion and have a look, he really did. The magazines they put together for what they were, and the amount of money he ploughed in, they were of great quality. So they are worth a good look. So do go over there, and if you've of deep pocket and you've got a bit of a darkened soul, you can probably scrub some of your sins off with a donation. And obviously spread the word around. So yeah, there you go. That's Retrofusion on Indiegogo.com.
I'm afraid I can't spend money on that because I've already found something that I want far more.
Which is?
You know those yellow tapes they put over crime scene?
Yes.
In like CIS and NCIS and I've lost control already. Apparently in Detroit they have come up with a new one that says biohazard crime scene. I didn't even know this was a thing, but I'm going to find out who makes the yellow tapes that says biohazard crime scene, and I'm like gonna buy a mile of it, and I'm gonna put it everywhere.
Right. Do you know? I think I've seen. Saw something similar, which was when I used to work for local authority. They actually had the environmental health team had not biohazard, but they had environmental hazard tape.
No, environmental. That makes you think of David Icke.
Well, they went to a restaurant and weren't served at lunchtime, so they came back and put it all over their front door, which I just thought was a brilliant kind of misuse of power. They just literally just stuck 4 big stripes across and just walked away and figured they'd notice and take it down. It was still there when we left that night. So
my entire life is a misuse of power.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, you know. But yeah, so there you go. Biohazard tape. If I see any, I'll buy some. I've got to go down to shops later. We need some more King's Mill. Or as it's been renamed, I saw today Queen's Mill bread, because of course the Jubilee's happening, which anybody outside the UK will think, oh lovely, it's very British, and everybody inside the UK is thinking, if I see another Union flag, I'm probably going to gut myself and stick my eyes out with a Halo figure. It's getting daft. I was in the supermarket today. I saw some meat with perfect for barbecue. Great big Union flag on the back of it. Country of origin, Brazil. I just thought that's brilliant. If I want to eat some pork, I want it from the hairiest pigs around. I don't want Brazilian pork. You know, it's got a waxy texture that I just can't bear as such. And, you know, so there you go. Porky pig. Forky pig. Do you want to say anything about the Jubilee?
Angry Birds again.
No. Just go on, Jubilee. Say something about the Jubilee.
I don't actually have anything satirical to say about the Jubilee because I'm just... You know those things that say keep calm and something?
Yeah.
I would buy all of those. If I won the lottery, I would just buy all of them and build a house out of them. I love them so much. It seems, I mean, it's like in every other respect, I am the most hateful and cynical person on the face of the planet. But there's just something about that presses my stupid switch.
Right.
It's my Achilles heel.
You shouldn't have mentioned that. I now have ammunition against you. I will buy it. Have you seen the Transformers one? The Amazing one, which was transform and roll out, and it had the Autobot logo instead of the crown. That was amazing. I also saw when I was at Eurogame, there's a lot of people actually with keep calm and call Batman, which was, you know, nifty as such. I think.
Can you give me one? Can you give me 1 second to break radio voice?
Go on then.
Oh. Sorry, that was my reaction to the keep calm and roll out thing. That was my little squee there.
That's all right. I didn't take a picture of it, but I will find a picture and put it on the website so you can look at it.
You're taking advantage of me when I'm weakened from having to walk back from Cornwall.
Well, you know, you weren't aware of it. Now you are aware of it. It's a good deal. Anyway, right, everybody that's listening, we're going to be doing another live half an hour after this half hour is finished, and we're giving you the chance to come on into Skype. It's just Bouncy Ball. We'll invite you into the conversation. If you add me on there, we'll get you in. You can ask us any questions you like as well, particularly our Starlet questions, because I need to have a drink. So if you could kind of talk to him for a couple of minutes so I can just get off the chair and reach the drink that's the other side of the room, that would be really helpful.
I'm already a bottle of Amontillado up. All
right. I haven't got it. It's over there. I can't
I'm like
reach
a
it.
Chav Edgar Allan Poe here.
Yeah. Chedgar Allan Poe.
Chedgar Allan Poe.
Chedgar Allan Poe.
.tumblr.com. Ask Chedgar Allan Poe. .tumblr.com. That's ours now. Listen, all of you. Oi, you can't use it.
Yeah. And we mean that as well. We do have a dog that we can send out. And don't forget, we've also got the Velociraptor as well that
yes.
we keep under the little tree branch that came in through the window.
Yes,
so yeah,
we bring the pain.
We do.
We bring the pain to fix the hole in the window where the tree branch is coming in, just above the bit above the Rumbelows sign. where there
it.
used to be an O, but it fell off, and they never replaced it.
Yeah. So, obviously, everybody, we've got about 30 seconds left on this. We will be going live again, so you can kind of keep hitting F5. Hit F5 a lot. I'm tempted now not to come back online just to see how long people keep pushing F5 for. That would be quite funny. And then, like, next week, we go live and they go, bloody hell, you took your time. But no, AHDD's got other things to do. He's got Adam Sandler films to take inspiration from. We can't keep him away from that. So, thank you all for listening. Thank you, Dalek, for joining me on this part. We'll see you again after the break. And, yeah, so all you people, keep on keeping on and keep listening, and we shall see you in a couple of minutes.